Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be in this world. This is Hejin Lee on a Saturday, October the 21st, with a morning update. So what's new except another new all-time high? It's going according to, as we had discussed, the price pathway is making its way here, is just about piercing pierced the upper line of the broadening triangle pattern. The MACD should go to 4,500, looking very nice. The ending diagonal, my buddy Seanster already called me out on this. This is a 5, so ending diagonal should have ABC, ABC, ABC. But in this case, I'm relying more on the pattern. And so this technically would not fit into an Elliott wave. Yes, I know. In my prior video, I kind of did mention that other Elliotticians might call me out on it. And that has happened. But the pattern suggests that a throw over could happen to 6,500. The MACD suggests that now is not really the best time to be buying. I think this is a time maybe for you to be laddering out. On a shorter time frame. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 being labeled. At around 6,300, we should get a correction back down to maybe 51, 54, 5,500. I don't know exactly where, but it'll be somewhere in the range of wave 4, ABC, which is here. Let's look at this in a higher resolution format. So if this is wave 5, let's see if there are 5 waves. Here wave, I think 1 is extended. Two, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll go to 6,400, I think. Okay. When wave 1 is extended, wave 5 is going to be pretty short, usually. Maybe half of 1. So from here to here would be here to here about 50%. And 50% is a Fibonacci number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there we'll get a correction. I believe. In the form of an ABC to maybe 5,500 or so, maybe as low as 5,100 to the bottom of wave 4 here. And then we'll get wave ABC and then an impulse up. Perhaps to 7,200, 7,500, 8,000 or 9,000. So we're looking pretty good on the pathway. This is not an intermediate. We're looking good on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pathway. 5 I think will be short. Not very long. In this case, I don't think 5 will be extended. It could. 1 and 5 could be extended, but maybe 1 will extend the most. That is possible. I want to again point out to the book recommendations that I have. One commenter actually wrote, all right, so teaching me how to fish. And I think that's a great response, because it would be just fantastic if I can help you to be independent, maybe to do your own counts. But you have to learn how to fish. And here is the way to start. I am not the start. I'm only introducing you to Elliott wave analysis. And my real objective is not to say buy this, profit that much. Now buy this, profit that much. Sell this. That's not my objective here. That's not me helping. I'm just spoon feeding you then. That's not helping you to fish on your own. So if you would invest a couple of LITECOINs worth of US fiat, you can buy the Elliott wave principle, which will have all of the basics of Elliott wave counting, and technical analysis for stock trends, which will have all of the basics and advanced concepts for chart pattern recognition. And in full disclosure, I get nothing for recommending these books. I'm not here to get a kickback. I don't need any kickbacks. So here, first start with this, then start with that. Or for some of you, start together. And the key you will find is application of the Elliott wave analysis when you start doing your own counts. And after you start attempting your own counts, post your chart with your attempted counts, and I'll be happy to see if I can help. A couple days ago, I had said that when 6,200 is reached, I will be unloading all of my Bitcoins. Now, I have greater confidence in this count. I had also said at around 7,200 or so, 68, 6,900, I will be unloading all of my altcoins. The altcoin unloading is still in play, but I will sell only 1/3 of my Bitcoins here at 6,200, and I wait for maybe a greater profit at 68, 7,000 or so. Here I will sell about another 1/3 of my Bitcoins, unload probably 2/3 of my altcoins, and if I see that we're going to go to 9,000, that can be subject to change. Now these changes are highly valid, and I'm not being whimsical at all. So I will unload 1/3 of my Bitcoins here. By this correction, maybe I probably won't buy more. Write it up here if this happens. I will have a tight stop somewhere here in this region, just in case this happens. And I don't want 6,800 to maybe 7,000. If I see that this is going to be extended to maybe 8,000 or 9,000, I might hang on a little bit longer. Because last wave 5 or 5, usually the best wave to take profits. Prior, I had labeled this as 3, and this as 4, and I thought and I had labeled this as 5, but I had changed it, moved it all up a degree. Not a degree, moved it all up on price. So now I'm changing my sell forecast or determination or plan. Now this does not mean that you should do the same thing. Not at all. I'm only telling you what I'm doing. It doesn't mean you should do the same thing. You have to make your own decision, and following me is not necessarily the best thing. And if you look at a chart and you say, I have no idea what this means, then try these books. I can offer some coaching, but right now I'm reserving all coaching to the top up voters, which will be announced tomorrow. And as it looks as of right now, we have again Michelle, K. Nurki, DK in Jack, F.A. Munger, who are repeats. These four are repeats from last week pretty much. And Jeff 55, IOG Club. They are the top fives. And I will be reaching out to you again to see if you'd like to set up a consult. You can use that as an Elliott Wave coaching session as well. Doing it next week will be pretty difficult, but I'll see what I can arrange. If not, we can always carry it over to the following week. No rush. I've gotten some questions on how to do laddering again, what laddering is. And for me, laddering, it really has to do with being able to get out or in. Instead of a single transaction, I scale it out or scale it in. The reason is when you buy everything in a single transaction, let's say you bought everything here thinking it's going to go higher, and then you see prices going lower and lower, and you don't have any more money, but you put all your wallet money into that one transaction, emotionally and psychologically, you're going to be suffering. Versus if you bought 1/10 here, maybe 20% here, 20% here, 20% here, 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 maybe another one here. You're laddering in. It eliminates virtually buyer's remorse in this case, or seller's remorse if you wanted to take profits. You ladder out, you scale out, and then scale in. Now, that technique is covered in deep detail using an example for BitShares. I'll put a link to this blog, and it was 4 days ago. And this is when I started recommending BitShares, BTS, and how I said to ladder in. And in the video is the example with those details on how exactly to do a ladder using local support and resistance zones. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you. Please let me know if you have any questions. And as always, I would very much appreciate upvotes, follows, and resteams. Thank you. First start with this, then start with that. Or for some of you, start together. And the key you will find is application of the Elliott Wave analysis when you start doing your own counts. And after you start attempting your own counts, post your chart with your attempted counts, and I'll be happy to see if I can help. A couple days ago, I had said that when 6,200 is reached, I will be unloading all of my Bitcoins. Now, I have greater confidence in this count. I had also said at around 7,200 or so, 68, 6,900, I will be unloading all of my altcoins. The altcoin unloading is still in play, but I will sell only 1/3 of my Bitcoins here at 6,200, and I wait for maybe a greater profit at 68, 7,000 or so. Here I will sell about another 1/3 of my Bitcoins, unload probably 2/3 of my altcoins, and if I see that we're going to go to 9,000, that can be subject to change. Now these changes are highly valid, and I'm not being whimsical at all. So I will unload 1/3 of my Bitcoins here. By this correction, maybe I probably won't buy more. Write it up here if this happens. I will have a tight stop somewhere here in this region, just in case this happens. Another one 6,800 to maybe 7,000. If I see that this is going to be extended to maybe 8 or 9,000, I might hang on a little bit longer, because last wave, wave 5 or 5, usually the best wave to take profits. Prior, I had labeled this as 3 and this as 4, and I thought this, and I had labeled this as 5, but I had changed it, moved it all up a degree. Not a degree, moved it all up on price. So now I'm changing my sell forecast or determination or plan. Now this does not mean that you should do the same thing. Now 5, so ending diagonal should have ABC, ABC, ABC. But in this case, I'm relying more on the pattern. And so this technically would not fit into an elliott wave. Yes, I know. In my prior video, I kind of did mention that other elliotticians might call me out on it. And that has happened. But the pattern suggests that a throw over could happen to 62, 6,500. The MACD suggests that now is not really the best time to be buying. I think this is a time maybe for you to be laddering out. On a shorter time frame, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 being labeled. At around 62, 6,300, we should get a correction back down to maybe 51, 54, 5,500. I don't know exactly where, but it'll be somewhere in the range of wave 4, ABC, which is here. Let's look at this in a higher resolution format. So if this is wave 5, let's see if there are 5 waves. Here wave, I think 1 is extended. 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll go to 6,400, I think. Okay. When wave 1 is extended, wave 5 is going to be pretty short, usually. Maybe half of 1. So from here to here would be here to here about 50%. And 50% is a Fibonacci number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there we'll get a correction. I believe. In the form of an ABC to maybe 5,500 or so, maybe as low as 5,100 to the bottom of wave 4 here. And then we'll get, and so this technically would not fit into an elliott wave. Yes, I know. In my prior video, I kind of did mention that other elliotticians might call me out on it, and that has happened. But the pattern suggests that a throw over could happen to 62, 6,500. The MACD suggests that now is not really the best time to be buying. I think this is a time maybe for you to be laddering out. On a shorter time frame, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 being labeled. At around 62, 6,300, we should get a correction back down to maybe 51, 54, 5500. I don't know exactly where, but it'll be somewhere in the range of wave 4, ABC, which is here. Let's look at this in a higher resolution format. So if this is wave 5, let's see if there are 5 waves. Here wave, I think 1 is extended. 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll go to 6400, I think. Okay. When wave 1 is extended, wave 5 is going to be pretty short usually. Maybe half of 1. So from here to here would be here to here about 50%. And 50% is a Fibonacci number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there we'll get a correction. I believe. In the form of an ABC to maybe 5500 or so, maybe as low as 5100 to the bottom of wave 4 here. And then we'll get wave ABC and then an impulse up. Perhaps to 7200, 7500, 8 or 9000.